I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Listen to Pavarotti.
Can I be your superhero?
Okay, this is going to be the complete video. I will make one correction. Y'all pointed it out. Jack D is actually the youngster in the video where I point out and I say he's Hunter Johnson. Those two knuckleheads just happen to dress exactly the same on the coldest day of the freaking year. But I'm gonna point out, so that'll be a correction. It's important to watch the whole video in its context, though, for you to truly understand the point I'm making as you get to the second half. First half you've already seen. I'm gonna point out some things in the beginning here, though, that are kind of interesting. One thing I found interesting is when you sync up the Nunez body cam with the Schneider body cam, look up here at the Jack D one, and you'll see Nunez there talking to Dylan, and Nunez isn't that strapping guy we thought he was. Also, I want to point this out, though. This is Schneider at 12/12/36, and he's walking down through here, and this van right here has always struck my attention. Blue car, red sport utility. Look over. All right, then gray sport utility. The white van's in front of that gray sport utility right there. So blue car, red sport utility, gray sport utility, white van. And the white van is pointing dead south right here. Now remember, these federal protection boys, like this one seen out in front of Ben Mogan's house in October, really like those white vans. Now this one is a Pacifica, but the one we see by the King Road residence is a Dodge, but it doesn't matter. That's their style, right? So once again, as Schneider walks down, we see this white van right here, parked right next to the crime scene, in front of a gray sport utility, then a maroon sport utility, and then a bluish gray car right here. Red sport utility, maroon sport utility, gray sport utility, white van in front of that facing south. Right next to the crime scene, 12/12. Here's just a little while later when all the ISP guys are on there investigating the scene. Now look what we got here right in front of the maroon vehicle facing north, right next to the crime scene. Don't you think they would have cleared them out if they didn't mean anything? Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, and I'm here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. And yes, in this one, we're going to get into that Dylan Mortensen interview that was released. And I've tried to watch a couple of people's takes on it after I watched it, and it's just mind-blowing to me where people's minds go. Like, what? Look, Dylan's lying, and Mowery's so stupid he doesn't realize she's lying. Look, Mowery's a dummy, Mowery's this, Mowery's that. If you have studied the context around what had taken place up until this interview, and then you listen to the words in the interview, and you hear what's going on, well, they weren't real smart, I'll tell you that. But if you think for a second that Mowery hasn't had conversations with Dylan about what to say in this interview, and I'll prove it, it's undeniable, you'll see how Mowery led Dylan into almost all of those statements, especially the ones that entered the probable cause affidavit. He implanted the entire statement into Dylan's mouth. She regurgitated it. We'll prove it, because we'll just prove it. You ready? You ready? All this tells me is that 911 call was BS. Most of the things that were said prior to this interview were constructed by law enforcement because they were trying to create some evidence to be used at a later date, probably on a person they didn't even know who they were creating evidence to use it on, but they were trying to cover something up. And I mean, I have a pretty good idea what they were trying to cover up in this whole thing. But we're going to go through and I'm going to point out facts, and then we're going to listen to statements, and I'm going to show you where the egregiousness took place. And you can blame Dylan all you want. She's complicit, obviously. But I think a lot of the blame is going to need to be put where the blame deserves, and that is on the detectives in this case, the town, the university, for constructing most of the BS that we have actually seen take place in this case. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's undeniable this time.
And what's a good address for you?
Like,
Just make somewhere. Where are you living right now? Are you here at the university?
Yeah.
What house is that?
what do you mean?
Is that an apartment or a sorority?
It's a house.
Okay. I don't know the sorority, so I
Oh,
apologize.
yeah.
I don't even know if there's any, what's there. Okay. I apologize. I don't know anybody's name or anything like that,
That's fine.
so. Like I said, I haven't been into the building. Where would if it's a basic layout of it, where would your apartment be?
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing we have to establish is context always matters. As you hear Mowery, and I just pulled out a few examples of that, where he is acting like he's brand new, right? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the victims' names, doesn't even know where Dylan there lives. You know, he's asking, what's her address? Where do you live? Is it a house? Is it an apartment? He's acting completely brand new. And he goes on to mention, I don't know anything about it at this point. So we have to understand, what could Mowery know at this point? Well, the only thing Mowery could know before going into that interview with Dylan, and since he's clearly stating that he doesn't know anything, the only thing he could know is what was written by Nunez in his statement from Dylan, which was a very small statement. Mowery wouldn't have at this time had time to go back and watch the body cam from Nunez and see what Dylan had said. All he can do is look at what Nunez had written down before he went into this interview with Dylan. So it's very important to know what Mowery could have known at this point as we go through this. And I'll show you why it's so important, because we're going to read the statement that Nunez had written down that Dylan had told him. And we're going to pull out finer points. And then I'm going to show you in this interview where Mowery leads Dylan into the answers to the questions that she's saying. And he's doing it in a way in which he acts like he doesn't know what he's saying because he doesn't know anything about the event, but he's doing it in a way where you absolutely know that he knows way more than he's letting on. And the only way that could be is if he had had conversations with these people before these interviews. It's undeniable. And he's going to lead her into all of the questions, all the answers. He's going to lead her. And we're going to make sure that we understand that when he begins leading her into those answers, that we've established there's no way that he should know to lead her into those answers up to that point because of the information that he actually had and the fact that he goes through and acts like he's brand new. It's very clear to me. I hope it's clear to you by the end of this. First, we have to establish a timeline, and you can see that Officer Johnny Lawrence, you know, fear does not exist in this dojo. Yes, sensei. Well, he talks about when he arrived on the scene, but the important statement I think that he gives is right here. And it says those interviews started about 1,348 hours. Those to be interviewed arrived at the PD about 1330. So the interviews with Dylan started at 1348, we can assume, with Dylan or Bethany or whichever one, because they don't give us times. But 8 minutes after they arrive at the PD and 1 hour, 1:38. So what time did they leave the scene? And what time did they arrive at MPD? There wouldn't be much time in between there and there, for officers to have given them a statement. So I believe those statements were given to them prior to the 911 call. So there's number one, establishing the time of these interviews. The next discrepancy I'm going to point out is, like I mentioned in the beginning, the only information that Mowery could have possibly garnered about Dylan before this interview and what she had said would have been from the written report of Mitch Nunez talking about what Dylan told him, because he's the only one that had any conversations with Dylan before this thing started. And as I mentioned, he wouldn't have had time by 1:38 to go into Nunez's body cam and see what she said. So he would have had to have either gotten it from Mitch Nunez's report, but we know that can't be the case because Nunez didn't write his report until 18:48:52 that day. So where did Mowery get the information from Dylan about the things that she was saying? And I'll show you what I mean, because he's going to lead her into answers that she did not give him before he leads her into these answers, y'all. And you can see what the only other way that Mowery would have had any idea of what Dylan said is if Nunez verbally talked to Mowery. And I think we should get a timeline of when Nunez left the scene to when he got to MPD's to see if he could have even given this information to Mowery. I don't think he did. I think Nunez left after 1:38, which means that he couldn't have given this information to Mowery, which means Mowery would have had to known this some other way before all this happened. So as we go through, though, what did Nunez garner from Dylan? I walked outside and began interviewing Dylan. She told me at approximately 4 o'clock, she heard a voice scream. She heard a voice scream and believed it to be Kaylee's. Dylan said she heard Kaylee scream and announced there was somebody inside the residence. Dylan said she could hear Kaylee run from the 3rd floor down the stairs to the 2nd floor into the northwest bedroom. Dylan said she locked herself in her bedroom and continued to hear a commotion. Dylan said eventually she stopped hearing a struggle and heard a male voice say, "You're going to be fine. I'm going to help you." Dylan said she did not recognize the male's voice. Dylan said after a few minutes, she peeked out of her bedroom and observed a male described as approximately 6 feet tall, slim build, with a black ski mask, leave the 2nd floor patio area. This patio door was likely left open as it was found open upon my arrival. So that's Dylan's statement. That is all that Nunez could have told Mowery. And I want you to notice very clearly in here one of the major points. Dylan never says she opened her door except for the one time where she said she peeked out of her bedroom and seen the assailant as he was walking out the back slider. Never I opened the door, seen somebody close the doors 3 times and all that kind of crap. So what you're going to hear Mowery do in this interview with Dylan is lead her into those statements. And it's very clear. But let's again take the highlights of what she told Nunez, because this would be the only information if this thing was on the level, this would be the only information Mowery could possibly know before this interview. And that's that Dylan said at 4 o'clock, she heard Kaylee scream, run upstairs, run downstairs. Dylan locked herself in her bedroom, continued to hear a commotion. She stopped hearing a struggle, heard a male's voice say, "You're going to be fine, I'm going to help you." And she did not recognize the male's voice. After a few minutes, she peeked out of her bedroom and observed a male approximately 6 feet tall, slim build with a black ski mask leave the 2nd floor patio area. Now, we know this is not exactly what Dylan told Nunez, but this is what Nunez gathered from what Dylan had told him, okay? And it's important to know this because this could only be what Nunez conveyed to Mowery. So it's going to prove Mowery knew way more about what they wanted them to say before this interview that happened at 1:38, which means they had to have this thing already mapped out and planned long before that 911 call was ever made. And he led her down the path of what he wanted her to say.
All right, my name is Miss Lawrence. Out of everybody you actually spoke to the common way, your parents didn't go crazy on you? What's your middle initial? And what's your last name? What's your date of birth?
2003.
And what is a good phone number for you? Okay. You've got your phone with you, no worries?
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures, any video, or anything like that? Any social media posts?
No.
Okay. And what's a good address for you?
Like,
Just make somewhere. Where are you living right now? Are you here at the university?
Yeah.
And what's a good address for you?
like,
Just make somewhere. Where are you living right now? Are you here at the university?
Yeah.
Just make somewhere.
All right, so this is a side note, but what in the HE double hockey sticks does that mean? I mean, what was he about to say? He said, "But what's your address?" And she was like confused. Well, you know, I lived in the house where everybody, the crime just happened. But what does he start to say? He goes, just make something up. I mean, what do you live at the university? He started to say, just make something up. I mean, it's clear as day. Do you live at the university? What is that? That's just weird right there. All right, let's continue.
What house is that?
what do you mean?
Is that an apartment or a sorority?
It's a house.
Okay. I don't know the sorority, so
Oh,
I apologize.
yeah.
I don't even know if there's any, what's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you know.
Okay, so there was a Simic High party, obviously, as we were drinking. I left to go to my friend's house.
When was that party?
I think I went there around like 10:30ish
Last night or this morning?
last night. And then, I went to and then me and my friend and then Beth and then we just all went to bed. It was the house we went to for a little bit, and then it was just me, like, who came home, and then later.
Okay.
She's a girl.
Okay. And are they all in the same place?
She has.
Okay.
Roommates.
Got it. Okay. So you guys were there, you came home early,
Yeah.
and then eventually she went to her place. Where does she live?
She lives like down the street. I don't know exactly where
Okay.
it is. And then Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club. And then we all went to bed.
What time do you think you got home?
I think I got home around 12:30 to 1.
Okay.
Between there.
And then what time do you think you came home?
Like 10-20 minutes after I did.
Okay. And then Maddie and who else came from the club?
Kaylee, I think they came home like 1:32ish.
Okay. And at that point, nothing.
Nothing weird at all.
Okay.
Then everyone's asleep. At 4 a.m., I like look at my phone and I can hear Kaylee and Murphy like dancing because I can tell it's her voice and that it's Murphy because he's barking.
Okay, so this is where details start to morph a little bit, right? This is the first time she's ever mentioned Kaylee dancing. And if you think about it, Kaylee dancing, especially dancing with Murphy, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So whenever details like that morph from what she said originally into this interview, I mean, we've got to point these things out. So this may seem a little redundant and it may bore you a little bit, but at this point, I think it's important for us to listen to her actual statement with Nunez. Look at what you can gather from that. Never once is dancing mentioned. And then we'll continue with this interview so that you can start to see how things are changing. It's my opinion that things are changing because they gave them nuggets to change. I don't think this is changing all on their own. And I know we all don't want to believe anything Dylan has to say. And if she is changing her statement because of what law enforcement told her to change, then that would make her just as complicit as everybody else. But it's my opinion that it's law enforcement that is culpable for a lot of the changes you're going to hear. So the first one to keep in mind is this is the first time we hear this dancing thing. I believe law enforcement planted that in her mouth. And we'll listen to her original statement. I know it's several minutes, but I think it's good to have that fresh on your mind as you're listening to this interview.
Good phone number to reach out. Okay, and is this your address?
Yes.
What's that address?
1122 King Road.
Is your driver's license right?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you seen on that?
No, I don't really know. I just saw my friend when I called because we were so scared. We're like, can you guys come help us? And that's all I saw. And told us not to go in. That man right there. That I'll show you around.
They did go in there.
Yeah, and that's when he told us he needed to call the cops.
Okay. Do you mind just waiting over there for me, please?
You know, I almost hate when I'm right about things sometimes. But what did you just see in that clip right there? I've been waiting a while to point this one out to you. And I've been waiting for this video, actually, when we got the Dylan statement. Did you catch what just happened right there? He asked, you know, what all do you know about the, you know, who's unalived in the house? And they try to block out a little bit of it. They didn't block out enough, though, because Dylan was attempting to say, well, she had just seen Xana, and then she started calling for help. And watch and listen really closely. She said she called for help, and somebody came over, and somebody helped them and told them they better call 911. And she points and says, that man right over there that helped us. And one of the only men that are standing right over there that she's pointing to that helped her was Officer Gunderson. Officer Gunderson was the one that was standing over there. I'm almost certain that she points to and says, that man helped us and told us to call 911. And if you pay really close attention, though, to where she points when she's talking about the man that helped them, that told them to call 911, you'll notice that Hunter Johnson is standing off to her right. So when she points to the man that helped them and told them to call 911, she's clearly not pointing to Hunter Johnson because he's standing to the right. And then Hunter tries to walk into the scene because he knows that she just screwed up by saying that, in my humble opinion. Watch one more time.
How much have you seen on that?
No, I don't really know. I just saw my friend when I called because we were so scared. We're like, can you guys come help us? And that's all I saw. And told us not to go in. That man right there. That I'll show you around.
They did go in there.
Yeah, and that's when he told us he needed to call the cops.
Okay. Now I overheard you talking about last night.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to, the more we know right now, the better. We can start this process.
Yeah.
Somebody will probably be revisiting this interview with you very soon. Again, okay? So you're probably going to have to retell the story quite a bit.
That's fine.
All right. What do you remember seeing? What started?
I remember I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed and I heard Kaylee, who ex-girlfriend, who also has a dog Murphy.
Real fast. Which one is your room?
Kaylee.
Which one is your room?
Oh.
What room are you in? You were in that room?
My room, not Xana's room. My room.
And your room is this one right here?
Next to the stairs. That one is Xana's room.
Second floor room.
Second floor.
Okay.
All I heard was I heard her go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs. All
And you heard who go upstairs?
Kaylee and the dog Murphy.
And upstairs to the very top?
Yeah, that's where her room is.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up, I heard her scream, and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you. I heard some guy say that. I heard some guy say that. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask that was just covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door, and I called, and I didn't know what to do.
This was at 4
4
this
a.m.
morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And so then I just ran down.
You left here?
Yeah, I left my room down to room. She's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom.
Okay, so this is the part where everybody says, well, wait a minute, but Dylan says it's Bethany's room at the bottom with the white blinds, indicating it's not the room to the right, it's the other room. But there's always a discrepancy. If they had already started pushing that they didn't want them to be in Bethany's room and her room was to the right, they wanted her to be in the other room that's not her room, well, then there would be an indication of that. And I assure you there is, because as she's starting to describe where Bethany's room is, it's almost as if she remembers mid-description and goes from pointing to the right to where Bethany's room probably really is, and then hurries up and points to the left and goes, well, the white room where the white blinds are. Watch.
She's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom. I ran down there and we talked, and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and it was weird because none of our roommates were up, and we called all of them. They were not waking up, and so me and like, this is weird. So I called and to come over, and then that's when all this happened.
Who all lives here with you?
Me, that one right there.
Okay. Who's Xana?
Xana is the girl in there.
Is the girl that lives this one?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name?
Xana.
Do you know if she has a middle name?
Alexis, I think.
Do you know what her last name is?
Kernodal. K. I don't know how to spell it really. K. You know? R-N-O-D-L.
K-A-E-R.
K-E-R.
K-E-R.
N-O.
N-O.
L-E.
D-L-E? Okay.
X-A-N-A.
X-A-N-A. Okay.
Ethan, who's in there, he doesn't actually live here, but he's here like almost all the time.
Ethan is a male that lives here, and
he doesn't actually live here. He's in the room with Xana, I believe.
He's in there right now.
But he doesn't live here, but he's here a lot. And then there's Maddie, Mogan, and Kaylee up top. I don't know where they're at though.
Maddie
Mogan, and
Maddie
Kaylee,
Mogan.
Yeah.
And who?
Kaylee Gonzalez. She's the girl that I was talking about, Kaylee, who I just heard her go upstairs and run back downstairs.
Okay. And the guy that lives here, his name was what? He's usually
Ethan.
Ethan. And you knew he was here this morning?
No, I didn't know. I had no idea he was here.
Okay. All right. Describe the guy that you saw.
I don't think he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me, like at all. I just shut the door and locked it because I didn't know what to do, and I think he went out like the side door, the sliding door in the kitchen that goes out to the backyard.
Okay.
And then I didn't know anything else, so I called and I was like, I just need to come downstairs and find you because I don't know where anyone else is. And I called Maddie, I called Xana, I called Kaylee, no one would answer.
Okay. All right. For Xana, do you know how old she is?
She's 20.
Is she in our house?
Yeah, Not anymore.
Okay. She's a student at UVI?
Yes.
Do you have any contact information for her parents?
No,
It's okay. Well,
okay.
we can get that eventually.
Her dad's name.
And then Ethan. E-T-H-A-N?
A-N. Chapin. C-H-A-P-I-N.
Hey, real fast. She's saying this morning around 4, there's a guy, black mask, was in there. She didn't recognize him. She heard girls screaming upstairs. She got scared, locked herself in the room, and then the screaming all stopped. She's pretty sure that this masked person went out the back. Okay. And right now I'm getting all victim information. She knows where the 2 girls are up there. I haven't told her who's deceased or anybody like that. They have 4 people that are unaccounted for right now, which...
Whose dog?
Whose dog? Who owns a dog?
The one in the truck.
Okay.
Tyson's on his way, and I'm personally getting.
Since she knows a bunch of the people who are all living here, I'm getting all their names, and then I'll finish collecting all their information. Okay. How old is Ethan?
I apologize. There's a door downstairs next to the bathroom that's got a padlock on or a lock on it. You guys.
We don't know.
Okay. Who has access to that room? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not something you guys normally.
No, we have no idea what it is.
Thank you guys.
So Ethan, how old is Ethan?
I believe he just turned 20.
20. And it's Chapin, C-H-A-P-I-N?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Do you happen to know either of their date of birth?
No, I know Sienna's date of birth.
Okay. No worries. And Ethan's also a UVI student?
Yes, he is.
And you don't see him here right now? You see, but pretty sure he's in that room.
I think so. I think it's what told me. I don't know for sure.
Alright, and then the 2 additional roommates that aren't here right now,
They're not.
that aren't here with you,
Yeah.
what are their names?
Maddie Mogan, M-A-D-D-I-E-M-O-G-E-N. And then Kaylee, K-A-Y-L-E-E. Goncalves, G-O-N-C-L-A-V-E-S. I think that's how you spell it.
How old is Maddie?
She's 21. Or 21 or 22, I can't remember. They're both 12 or 21, but I don't know exactly.
I think so. How old is Kaylee?
Over 21, I believe she's 21 or 22. Sorry, I don't quite remember.
It's okay. You're doing great.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm asking a lot of you, so I appreciate you.
Don't say anything.
You're doing very well.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm asking a lot of you, so I appreciate you.
Don't say anything.
You're doing very well.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm asking a lot of you, so I appreciate you.
Don't say anything.
You're doing very well.
Do you know if the other 2 girls are upstairs or not?
Right now, what we got to do is we got to process this whole thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know what I'd be permitted to tell you
That's fine.
right
That's
now. Okay.
fine. I understand.
Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything. So you're sure at about 4 this morning?
Yes, it was 4:10.
You first noticed a guy.
Well, I first noticed Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs.
So 4 this morning, went upstairs
Yeah.
to the way top.
Yes, to her room with Murphy the dog.
Okay.
And
And
then
you heard Kaylee scream.
I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs, and she said someone's here.
She ran downstairs.
Yes, I could hear it. You can hear everything pretty much. I heard her run downstairs really fast. And then I heard Murphy barking a lot.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing, and I just remember hearing this guy's voice that I didn't recognize saying, "You're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you," but it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way, it was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna help you.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear anything from Kaylee anymore at that
No,
point?
after that I didn't hear anything. So then I kept calling for her name. I called on my phone, I called Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee, none of them answered. So then I opened up the door to look, and that's when I saw the guy pass by. He looked at me, but he didn't come towards me or say anything, which was really confusing to me. I don't understand that. And I'm pretty sure he went out the side door. And then I called and said she thought maybe there was a fire or like a firework. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and there was a light, I guess.
Did you hear like a pop, like a bang?
I don't know. Did you hear it bang?
It's what she heard.
Okay.
That's what she heard.
Okay, never mind. You sit there. I didn't hear that.
Hey, where are you going right now?
I'm just going to pick up my phone.
Okay. Where's your friend live? To the left, please.
Yeah, I can roll.
Okay.
I don't think I ever heard a bang. I didn't think anything about fire or firework.
Or a
until
gunshot
I told her.
or
I don't
anything.
think I heard anything of that, but I also was kind of in and out of it because I was so scared and I was really tired. And that's when I called and I told her, I need to come to your room because she was the only one that was answering me. So I just ran down there, and for a second I stopped and I saw Xana passed out, and I thought maybe she was just like sleeping or something. I didn't think anything because I was so out of it. And I went into the room and we just fell asleep. And then we woke up this morning and no one was waking up at all. Like no one was answering, which was really weird because all of us wake up around like 9 or 10. And then I called to come check, and he came here first. And I told him what happened, and then he looked in the room and he said, "You need to get out and call the cops."
Okay. The guy that you saw, I know it was dark, right? Or were there lights on in the house?
I think there were lights on in the house, I believe.
Okay.
I don't really know what he looked like because he had a mask, but he wasn't like super tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10". I think it was maybe my height an inch or two higher or lower. I can't really remember.
So about 6 foot.
I think so. Around there.
How was he built? Fat, skinny, stocky?
More like skinny, but like basketball player kind of skinny. Like not too skinny, but like almost fit skinny in a way. That's what I think. I don't know for sure.
And then the voice, he said, when he said those words, you didn't recognize that voice before.
I didn't recognize him or his voice. I mean, I also couldn't see him, but I didn't recognize that voice at all. It didn't even cross my mind if that could be.
Did you guys have a party last night too? Or?
Not tonight, but there was and we had like a formal thing beforehand. That was 2 days ago.
Okay. Is there anything that popped out about that event that was concerning?
No, I mean, I went to because Ethan, he is with my and Xana, and who are dating, and Xana went there. I was there for a little bit, and then I went to my friend's house down the street, and then I came back home with my friend. Everything was fine, nothing weird at all, nothing suspicious until 4 a.m.
Okay.
So now that we've reviewed the notes from Nunez and the actual statements from Dylan, and we take away the critical takeaways from her statement with Nunez, now when we cross-reference the next statements that are made with Mowery, what changes is very interesting, and I think it's very telling to determine who's really making these changes. Was it Dylan or was it Mowery? Let's find out.
Sleep at 4 a.m. I look at my phone and I can hear Kaylee and Murphy dancing because I can tell it's her voice and that it's Murphy because he's barking.
Now, this is something that's inconsistent with what she said originally. Now, instead of just going from she heard Kaylee running upstairs and scream, now she's saying, well, I've heard Kaylee and Murphy dancing. Right? And everybody thinks Mowery is stupid. and Dylan's lying, Mowery's stupid, because that's the easiest way to explain things. I can assure you, though, Mowery's not stupid. All right, Mowery's actually been around for a long time, and he has some expertise in different areas. Mowery is definitely not a stupid guy. And as he's taken these statements from Dylan, we're going to see just exactly how not stupid Mowery is, because Mowery seems to be very good at leading a witness. But when you hear somebody say, I hear somebody dancing with their dog, well, the natural response would be, what do you mean by dancing, right? And you don't hear any of that. So when a weird statement like that comes up and there's no acknowledgement from Mowery, it tells me that it's something likely that Mowery has put in Dylan's mouth because he wasn't shocked to hear it. Let's continue.
And then I hear her go upstairs because you can hear like everything. And I heard her say, there's someone here. And I thought she ran downstairs because you can hear like everything. Because you can hear like everything. Because you can hear like everything. And then I jumped up and locked my door because I didn't know what else to do.
Okay, so I got to reiterate this because this is key. According to all of the police reports, at this point, nobody else has talked to Dylan other than Nunez. So the only thing that Mowery could be briefed on as it relates to Dylan is what she told Nunez. There is no other documentation of anybody ever talking to Dylan. So that's all Mowery could know at this point. And in the Nunez statement, the only thing she said was, I called her name and locked my door because I was scared. And then I opened the door. This is the only time she says she opened the door, when she says she saw a guy dressed in black. It's important to understand those two things and what she just said as we go further.
And then I jumped up and locked my door because I didn't know what else to do.
Okay. So Kaylee and Murphy's her.
Murphy, so Kaylee and is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. They share the dog pretty much.
And Murphy's the dog?
Yeah.
Okay. What is Kaylee's last name?
Goncalves.
Oh boy, spell that one for me.
Gonclaves.
And is she here today?
No.
Was she one of the ones that was hurt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, where is Kaylee's room compared to yours?
Like right above my
Straight
she's
above. What, are you on first, second?
second.
And she's on third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where, when it finally goes to trial, it'll be pretty easy pickings. So here's what we've all come to believe, and we're fairly certain that this is Maddie's room, this is Kaylee's room, Dylan, Xana and Ethan, and the one that I'm not sure of is, this is where they say Bethany's is. I think it's quite possible she could have been over here. But when you hear Dylan in the interview say that Kaylee's room was directly above her room, I can understand why she's thinking that, because these stairs go up, turn, and then come back up the other direction. So she just might be directionally challenged and think once you get up to the top of the stairs and you make a left into Kaylee's room, I can see why she would think that might be over her room. So she probably really believes it's Kaylee's room above her. Yet we know that it's not Kaylee's room. We know it's actually Maddie's room. So all the things that she's saying that she heard upstairs in Kaylee's room was actually happening in Maddie's room, which kind of messes up the whole story if you think about it. And let's continue.
You said that Kaylee and share Murphy?
Yeah. This?
And is Jax
Yeah.
current?
Yeah. He's ex right now.
Any problems between Kaylee?
No. Okay. They're really good, like, friends still.
Still play with the dog and stuff like that?
Every now and then, yeah.
Okay. So, you hear Kaylee upstairs, she's dancing, playing with the dog, normal kind of thing, probably.
Okay, so it's little things like this that you got to pay close attention to, because I don't believe for a second this is Mowery being stupid and starting to, just misinterpret the situation. This is clearly Mowery leading the interview, and he's leading her into things that they want her to say and confirm. Listen close to what he just said, because he has not heard this from her. And in fact, nobody has heard this from her to this point. And what does she do? She just says yes, because he's leading her down the path of what they want her to say.
Sleep at 4 a.m. I look at my phone and I can hear Kaylee and Murphy dancing, because I can tell it's her voice and that it's Murphy, because he's barking.
You see, Dylan said that she heard Kaylee and Murphy dancing, as in to insinuate dancing on the second floor, because she then goes on to state she then heard Kaylee run upstairs and then run back downstairs. But Mowery is going to slyly move the story. He does it by first asking Dylan, what room is Kaylee's room?
Okay, where is Kaylee's room compared to yours? You hear Kaylee upstairs, she's dancing, playing with the dog, normal kind of thing, probably.
So Dylan had never once said that Kaylee was upstairs, meaning on the third floor, playing with the dog. In fact, she never said that her and Murphy was dancing until this interview. I think somebody put that in her mouth, but she was clearly insinuating that she could hear Kaylee and Murphy dancing on the second floor. Then she went on to say she ran to the third floor and ran back down. Now, what Mowery has done is, in a very slick way, asked her about Kaylee and Murphy dancing, asked her where Kaylee's room was. Now he's restating things and saying, so you heard Kaylee and Murphy playing, that was his words, playing on the third floor. Normal thing, right? Just normal thing. And he gets her to say yes. Now he's led her into exactly what he wanted to lead her into. Mowery isn't stupid. Mowery's slick. Not that slick, though.
You hear Kaylee upstairs, she's dancing, playing with the dog, normal kind of thing, probably.
Yeah.
And then she says, there's someone here?
Yeah, when she goes out, I can hear her go upstairs, and then I think she's in her room, and she says that someone's here, and I can tell she's scared, and she runs downstairs.
Where do you think she ran?
I don't know if she made it past the stairs,
okay,
or if it was in the living room.
Okay.
So Dylan, who is not as slick as Mowery, she returns to her original statement that she ran upstairs, said someone's here, and then ran back downstairs. Watch what Mowery does.
But you heard her on the stairs?
Yeah, I heard her running super fast down the stairs.
Okay.
And then I didn't open the door, I just called her name, and then I called Xana, Kaylee, and Mogan on my phone. And then...
What were those other names?
Xana, Maddie, Mogan is Maddie, and Kaylee.
Okay. Do you know what Xana's last name is?
Kernodle. Kernodle, I believe.
Okay. And what about Maddie?
Mogan, Mogen.
And Kaylee
Goncalves.
That's the same one. Okay.
Yeah.
Were these three friends?
Yeah, we're all roommates.
Okay. Who was sharing the room with Kaylee?
Kaylee and Mogan are both upstairs. They don't share rooms.
They have their own rooms?
Yeah, we all have our own rooms.
Okay. So these two are up on the third.
Yeah.
Where's Xana?
That's my floor.
Your floor.
She's closest to the bathroom on my floor.
The bathroom. Okay. So John and Kaylee aren't an issue.
No, they're not at all.
What about for Xana or Maddie? Are there any guys that are an issue? Any girls that are an issue?
No, Maddie has a boyfriend in Boise, super nice.
Okay.
Xana is dating Ethan, who is in the room with her. They're really nice too.
Okay. I apologize. I'm I don't know anybody's name or anything like that.
Yes, I
So was Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee all upstairs still? Are those the ones that got hurt?
Those are the ones that got hurt.
Okay.
And then the other girl that's here, she's on the first floor.
Okay. And was she the one in the yellow hoodie?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's over there. So anybody that would want to hurt Ethan or that's jealous of Ethan?
No.
Nothing like
At all.
that?
I've never heard anything.
Any cars that were in the area that you can think of that wouldn't have been normal?
No, I wasn't really looking at that.
Okay.
Okay, so what Mowery did right there is a classic tactic. When Dylan said something that didn't line up with what he wanted her to say, he shifted gears. Here's what she said.
And then I didn't open the door. I just called her name, and then I called Xana, Kaylee, and Logan on my phone.
She was very clear about this point.
I didn't open the door.
Then Mowery, in classic leading fashion, shifts gears, asks her the name of everybody, asks them about their boyfriends, anything else, and then he slickly, after doing that, comes right back to this.
And you didn't see anybody come downstairs. Did you hear anything else?
No, I don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors, and we've never had problems before. Like, it was just really random.
Okay.
So here comes Mowery now. Pay close attention.
So you're getting home around 12:31.
Yeah.
You've got Maddie that comes home just shortly after.
Yeah.
Maddie comes home shortly after that. And then from that point, from about 2 to 4, did you fall asleep?
Yes, I fell asleep.
Okay.
And Kaylee also came home with Maddie at the same time from the club.
So between that time, obviously, you're not hearing anything. So between that time, obviously, you're not hearing anything. You had something to drink, so obviously you're going to sleep a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You had something to drink, so obviously you're going to sleep a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you hear her, she says what she says, you hear her hitting the stairs, you open the door, cry out to her, and then you hear her, she says what she says, you hear her hitting the stairs, you open the door, cry out to her.
See what his slick butt just did? He just restated everything in the way that he wanted it to be stated. He said, so you hear her, implying you hear her upstairs. She yells, she hits the stairs, implying that she's already upstairs when she hears her. She yells, someone's here, and then she hits the stairs, as in to just run downstairs from upstairs. And then he says, so you opened the door to yell at her. He just implanted opening the door for the first time in this whole thing at this point. Never once has she said she opened the door before she opened it to peek out and see the guy. Now he's added this whole other door opening scenario right here, even though she had just said, but she didn't open the door.
I didn't open the door.
We just listened to just a minute ago. So listen to it one more time. Watch how Mowery just makes this whole thing morph into what he wants her to say and gets her to agree to it.
And then you hear her, she says what she says, you hear her hitting the stairs, you open the door, cry out to her.
Yes.
And then you close the door because you're scared.
Yes.
Right? And then you close the door because you're scared.
Yes.
Right?
So right there is where in the PCA it says she opened the door the first time. It didn't come from Dylan. It came from the mouth of Mowery. On purpose, I believe.
What happens at that point?
I opened the door again, and I heard what I thought was Kaylee crying in the bathroom, and I heard this man's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," but it wasn't like in a nice way.
Now, here's Dylan following Mowery's lead. He said, what happened next? Now, before she said she's never opened the door before, but now that he's given her this lead to say that you had opened the door and you were scared and closed it, now she's saying, okay, well, I opened the door again the second time and I hear somebody in the bathroom. It's just following the lead of the detective, and we know that it is a scenario they've already discussed.
Like, it was just weird, and it was a voice I've never heard before.
Okay.
And then I called out to her, and there was no crying after that. I don't really know what happened after that.
So when you opened the door, you thought you heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom?
Yeah,
okay.
but it could have been Dana, but I thought it was Kate at the time.
Okay.
So yeah, he says, so when you opened the door, you thought you heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom? He wanted to make sure that he restated it with that, so when you open the door again, got in there. It's already mapped out before he goes into this interview.
Right over the top of it. And you said you don't recognize the voice?
No. And then I opened the door again, and the guy is right there.
Now, once again, Dylan just following Mowery's lead. Now she's opening the door again. Even though she's already said at this point she never opened the door until she saw the guy. It was all Mowery leading her.
And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic built, not like skinny, athletic built, not like skinny, not like skinny, not like skinny, athletic built.
So what Dylan's clearly stating right there is, she's just saying it fast, is the perpetrator is not skinny. He's not skinny. He's not like skinny. He's athletically built. Doesn't fit Koberger, does it?
He has all black. He's wearing some masks that covers just his forehead and here, and it goes like around. He was white. He saw me and I saw him, and he just left. He was white. He was white.
So in this interview, she was pretty certain that the guy she had seen was white. Not she didn't know how she knew he was white, but she was pretty certain that he was white, and Mowery didn't lead her into that one.
And he was holding, it looked like it was this and this, it was black, and I didn't think that it was a gun, but now I'm thinking that it probably was.
Now, she wasn't thinking at the time it was a gun, but now she's thinking it probably was. Well, why would she now be thinking it probably was? Because Dylan is just as sharp as anybody else. She knows that Bethany heard bangs and seen a spark. And her roommates are all unalived, and they probably have heard at this point that one of them had been shot. That would make her think that what she had seen was a gun. Although I would like to see Mowery's face looking at her as she said that, because he certainly tries to get her to say something else.
But I was just in and out of it because I was so tired.
You say this.
Like it was cylinder like this, and then it went straight out and then in.
So what she's describing there is a gun. Nothing else has cylinders like guns do. However, Mowery's going to try to shift her, and he's the one that come up with the arrow thing, not Dylan.
I don't, maybe.
Almost like a arrow, or?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It was weird. I couldn't really, I call it like a mini vacuum. I don't really know what it was.
Okay.
Okay, let's just take a step back right here. Now, I know I have former law enforcement officers that watch my videos. I'd love for you to comment on this, because imagine you have a detective and they're questioning a witness about the perpetrator that she had seen in the house that had just unalived 4 individuals. And when your witness says he was holding something that now I believe was a gun that had a cylinder, would your response be, well, did it look like an arrow? And then when she says, I don't really know what it was, like a mini vacuum, would you stop right there and go, oh, okay, well then that makes sense. He's holding a mini vac. Let me continue on in my questioning. Or would you dig in and try to determine if the guy was holding a gun or not? Answer that one honestly. And the fact that he doesn't do that tells you everything you need to know.
You say about your height. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", so he's probably around 6 foot.
So he's going to be average height.
Yeah.
Any of the girls at all in the house get any kind of freak weirdness going on the last couple of weeks that they talked about?
It's been all normal. Nothing weird at all.
No weird calls, no texts?
No, I mean, nothing really weird happens in Moscow usually.
Right? Okay, so, and I apologize, I keep backing up just a little bit, just because everything's going to be jumbled up with you, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, let me back up just a little bit because everything's going to be jumbled up with you, meaning everything we wanted you to say. So let me just restate everything we need you to say to clarify things and get you to agree to it.
You hear her dancing. You hear her say somebody's here. She goes, it sounds like she goes to the stairs. You open the door, call to her, close the door, and then you go to open the door because you and hear her crying.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody, might not have been her. And then, did you close the door and then reopen it before you saw him?
Yeah, I closed it before I reopened it and saw him.
Okay, now I've showed you step by step how Mowery led her into all of those answers throughout the entire interview, and then he just restated it all at once and got her to agree to it. So you know he led her into those statements and she followed right along because that's what they told her to do. It's undeniable. Listen one more time.
You hear her dancing. You hear her say somebody's here. She goes, it sounds like she goes to the stairs. You open the door, call to her, close the door, and then you go to open the door because you and hear her crying.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody, might not have been her. And then, did you close the door and then reopen it before you saw him?
Yeah, I closed it before I reopened it and saw him.
From the time that you heard her say there's somebody here to the time that you saw him, how much time do you think?
I don't know, I think it was like around 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I was really
Not long.
out of it. Everything was kind of blurry. Like, I don't fully remember it, I would say.
Okay. So, help me figure out where, like I said, I haven't been into the building. Where would your, if this is a basic layout of it, where would your apartment be?
Okay, so
Or your room, I should say.
I guess, like, say the door's right here.
This is the apartment or that hall?
It's like a house.
Okay.
It's a whole house. Then there's stairs that go up diagonally like this.
Okay.
Living room.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at the living room. To the right is the bathroom and Dana's room. Right in front of you is my room and the stairs.
On the second floor, right?
Yes.
So you've got the stairs that are here on the second floor. You've got the bathroom here.
Bathroom and Dana's room around here.
Okay.
My rooms that are like right in front of it.
Okay.
And there's a kitchen.
So this is the kitchen.
Then there's stairs that go up to the second floor.
Okay. So that's up.
And then Kaylee's room is on, going up the stairs. Kaylee's room is on the left.
Up top, right?
Yes, up top. And Maddie's room is on the right. And there's also a bathroom next to Maddie's room.
So your door faces the stairs going down to the bottom?
It faces more, like you can see them when you look up, but it's not totally facing. It's more like facing like this.
Okay, so your door's more over on this side?
Yeah, and then I can see like the window door that slides open back there.
So you opened your door. Where was he at?
In between my door and the kitchen.
Okay.
I think. And I saw him go out the door, I believe.
Out the kitchen door?
Yeah, and I just remember saying like, no, and I shut the door and locked it as fast as I could.
Okay. So is there a deck out back?
It's like just cement, and there's like no fence, so I guess anyone can come in on there.
So is the bottom floor kind of like a daylight basement? So you can come in that floor, and then you can get out the back up one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So 5'10", all black. Could you see what color his eyebrows were or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember what his eyes look like either.
Okay. Could you see what color his eyebrows were or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember what his eyes look like either.
Okay. He didn't say anything to you?
I mean, I saw his eyes and he saw me, but he didn't walk towards me and didn't see anything.
Okay.
Which I found really weird.
But didn't recognize eyes, and definitely a white guy?
Yeah, definitely a white guy.
Okay. Any smells, anything like that that would be weird?
Mm-mm.
After he left, what happened?
I called me and it was like I heard a sound like a firework and I didn't like put two and two together. I called me and it was like I heard a sound like a firework and I didn't like put two and two together.
When she says she didn't put two and two together, it's obvious she didn't put two and two together, meaning the firework that Bethany had heard and the gun that the assailant was holding.
And so I told her, like, I called everyone, they're not answering, and I'm in and out of it. I don't think anything of it. I just think everyone's asleep, and I go to her room, we lock the door, and just go to bed.
Okay.
And then this morning, it's like 11 or 12, and we're calling everyone, and no one's waking up, and we have like a really bad feeling. So I called Dano's room, and he said, you need to call the cops right now.
Okay.
He wouldn't let us see what happened because he didn't want us to see pretty
Totally.
much. Yeah.
Your house, co-ed?
Just
Or
girls.
just girls? Okay. And, right?
So Xana is on the same floor as me, first floor. Mogan and Keely are the third floor.
Okay. That's what I'm messing up. Okay. Didn't hear a car start up? Nothing like that after the fact?
No.
And then no one, has anybody seen anything on any social media posts?
No.
Anybody talking about anything?
No.
Okay. Okay. At the sixth party, anything weird, strange, not normal? Anybody get angry with anybody? Anybody?
No, it was just normal. Like everyone seemed fine. Xana and Ethan were with me, and it was totally normal. Like
Okay.
there was nothing weird or out of place or suspicious.
Nobody hooked up that might have a boyfriend that wouldn't be pissed off at him or something?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else you can think of that I should know?
All that I really know was me saying that there was like a loud boom, but I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And I don't really know how I didn't because I was on that floor. That's
Because you were
all.
just right below it, right?
Below me, and Xana and me on the same floor. So like Xana and me the same floor. And
Oh, I get you.
down here, and me saying that there was like a loud boom, but I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And I don't really know how I didn't because I was on that floor. That's
Because you were
all.
just right below it, right?
That's
Because you were
all.
just right below it, right?
That's
Because you were
all.
just right below it, right?
See, that's where you have to do next level listening. What did Dylan say? Said there was a loud boom, and I don't know why I didn't hear it because I was on that floor. But what does Mowery respond with? Well, you were just right below it, right? Now, Mowery knows now especially that there was 2 unalived on Dylan's floor and 2 unalived on the 3rd floor. So when she talks about a boom and she doesn't know why she didn't hear it, and Mowery says, well, you were just right below it, right? It tells me that Mowery believes the loud boom happened on the 3rd floor with Kaylee and Maddie. Tells me that the most likely person to have been shot in this is Kaylee.
So Xana's in between the bathroom and the kitchen?
Yes, pretty much. There's like a wall, and there's kitchen, Xana's room, bathroom.
Okay. Anybody else on your floor?
No.
And then downstairs on the 1st,
Yes.
and then up on the 3rd was, Ali doesn't live with you.
Kaylee and Maddie.
Kaylee and Maddie, those are both on the 3rd.
Yeah.
Similar layout where one bedroom's over the other?
Yeah, so Kaylee's room was here, bathroom in the corner, and then Mogan's room.
Okay. So Morgan would be over Xana's room?
Yes.
Ish?
I would think so.
Okay.
And I guess Kay would be above my room, I'm thinking.
So Xana is on your floor, but she was upstairs with Kaylee and Morgan.
No, she was in her room.
She was in her room?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ethan was in
Her room?
Xana's room as well.
Okay. So I had 2 of them there, then 2 of them on 3rd.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. I will give you this, just in case you think of anything else, which
Now he goes on to give her the helpline to the university's mental health and all that. And then he'll pop back in there and ask her some more leading questions. But I've got everything that I think I need to give my summation of this. Clearly, as you go through, once again, listen to what she said to Nunez, and then just an hour and a half later, what she says to Mowery. The fact that Mowery couldn't have seen Nunez's body cam, all he could have gathered before this, if it was on the level, is what he would have been briefed on from one of the other officers that Nunez had told him. So certainly wouldn't be much information. And he went into this with quite a bit of information, it seems to me. And he led her right down the path of where he wanted to lead her. And I think the final result of that is what actually ended up in the probable cause affidavit. When you think about everything that we just heard in this interview and what ended up in the probable cause affidavit, it was all what Mowery led her to say. Let me remind you. Now, how interesting does this become? Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Now that we go back and we listen to that, that is Mowery's word, playing. Dylan said nothing in the first interview, said dancing on the second floor in the second interview, but Mowery had her change it to playing. We all watched it in real time. And he had her change it to playing in one of the upstairs bedrooms, where Dylan clearly said she was playing with, she thought she was playing with Murphy on the second floor, then heard her go upstairs, say someone's here, and then run back downstairs. But now Mowery's led her into exactly what ends up in this PCA, coincidentally, and saying that she was playing, which is his words, and starts it off in the upstairs bedroom, just like he shifted her to say, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A short time later, no, she said she ran upstairs, said someone's here, and ran back downstairs. A review of records obtained from Kernodle's phone showed this could have been Kernodle, as the cellular phone indicated she was awake using the TikTok app at 4:12. Never in the statement was this. Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Well, we just saw how Mowery got her to say she opened the door before the third time during that interview. She never said it. He led her right into it. Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Nope, Mowery led Dylan right into that statement as well. And then Dylan said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." That's kind of what she said. Not when the door was open, though, because according to Dylan, she never opened the door until right here, when she said she opened the door and seen the guy, peeked out at the guy. But Mowery took that statement, had her add all of these opening the doors, and then I'll be danged if it didn't all end up in the PCA, just the way that Mowery led her to say it. And then Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. What she actually said was he was a little bit taller than me, not skinny, athletically built, and she couldn't see his eyebrows or couldn't remember it, but she did see his eyes. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase, right? This is after they put those words in her mouth in later interviews, y'all. But I wanted to show you where all of these doors opening and all this crap came from and playing with the dog. It wasn't Dylan. Mowery clearly put those words in her mouth, and he did it for a reason. And now what all the unbiased evidence at this point tells me, that right back in the beginning when they put in the PCA at 4:17, you can hear a loud thud. Well, I don't believe that loud thud was anything other than maybe a muffled gunshot that they were trying to slyly disguise in this case. And I believe it happened around the time that the assailants were leaving. It tells me that the most likely scenario is they shot Kaylee, And a cleanup ensued from there when law enforcement arrived long before the 911 call. And they must have had some reason to manipulate that crime scene, because it seems to me like it would likely have been Kaylee being shot on the first floor, and then probably law enforcement transporting her up to Maddie's room and describing the crime scene as they found it. Seems to me like when Dylan says Kaylee ran upstairs and ran downstairs, maybe Kaylee kept running all the way downstairs. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Post your comments, thoughts, criticisms. Till next time, Pavarotti's out.
Can I be your superhero?